Sheryl, hey.
Hi.
Thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we'll get started in just a moment.
Okay.
Can I get you anything?
No, but you could do me a favor.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing possibly The Hobbit. So could you read this little bit of Bilbo?
Okay. Yeah, Bilbo.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Just want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the dwarves. Good. No?
No. He's a hobbit.
Oh.
He's little,
Okay.
but he's got lots of energy.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the
Okay. He's not frenetic. He's just got energy. He's a happy hobbit.
Okay. Happy hobbit. Okay.
On an adventure.
On an adventure. Mm-hmm. Okay. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the dwarves. I hope the goblins didn't get them. My sword.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam.
Okay.
He's got energy,
Okay.
but he has this sort of calmness about him. Okay? He's not, he's not jumping out of his skin.
Okay. All right.
Okay, here we go.
Energy.
Mm-hmm.
Calm. Not jumping out of his skin.
Right.
Okay. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the dwarves. I hope the goblins didn't get them. Huh?
Not a robot either. You can move.
Oh, I can move.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Just
Okay.
not as energetically.
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay. You're going to get it this time.
Okay. I'm going to get it. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the dwarves. I hope the goblins didn't get them. My sword! It hardly glows. That means the goblins aren't near. Yet they're still around. Ugh.
Oh, that was much, much better.
Yeah?
Yeah. But just a little less looking like Frankenstein's monster.
Oh. Okay. No Frankenstein.
No Frankenstein.
Gotcha. Keep away from my eyes. I hope that what happened to the dwarves. I hope the goblins didn't get them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, we don't need.
Okay.
Remember, calm.
Calm.
Mm-hmm, with energy.
With energy.
In your voice.
Okay.
But not Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
And not Frankenstein.
Okay. No, Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here we go. All right. Keep away from my eyes. I wonder what happened to the dwarves. I hope the goblins didn't get them. I hope that they're ready for Light Talk. Let's start the show.
It's time to have some fun. Oh, Light Talk with Sam Beman. We got skits and interviews. We got everything but the blues. It's on. Light Talk is on. Light Talk with Sam Beman.
Hey guys, I'm Sam Beman and you're watching Light Talk. Wow, you look amazing out there. I mean, that is so awesome. Look, did you do something different with your hair? Are those new clothes? That is fantastic. I just love the way that outfit looks on you. Now, how did you feel, honestly, when you heard that? You know, when you just tuned into this program, did you feel a little better about yourself? Because usually if someone says something like that to you, if they give you a compliment, it sort of boosts your confidence a little bit, like, wow, you like my eyes, you like my outfit, you like my shoes, whatever it is. But if someone says something nice, something kind, it really does something on the inside. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of words. And so it's a little bit different, but I've got some stories I want to share at the end of the program, so stick around for that. But I've got some great guests on my show today, the Strength family, along with Sheryl Palmer and comedian Bob Smiley. So stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hello there, mates. It's me, Shopping Cart Hunter, and I'm out here at Walmart and I saw something that just really blew my mind. Here, I'll show you real quick. All right, as you can see, she's right across the street there. Unfortunately, in a situation like this, there's no crosswalk. I'm having to make my way across real quick. There she is. I see her. 2 of them. Wow. And to think they're so far from their home. Wow, look at this, mate. The store is way over there. Looks like these guys were waiting on a bus ride. No, not really, but that would be kind of funny. I'd love to see these guys get on a bus. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take them back to their natural habitat. I just have to be real careful here. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah. All right, now let's see how this one is. We'll just see if we can lock the 2 of them in together. Sorry for the shaky camera work here. My cameraman's off today. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Now I gotta try and get these 2 back across the street. Pray for me, mates. Here we go. Oh, she's wanting to go off-road. Oh, here we go. Now that we've made it across, I gotta get these babies back to their home. Boy, she's really pulling to the right. These buggies are putting up a fight, let me tell you. Just have to dodge some cones here. Oh no, looks like we're blocked. I'll take care of this. Just kidding, mate. I'm gonna move these cones. We don't want to damage your property. That wouldn't be good. We want to be good stewards while we're out here and take care of other people's stuff, like their shopping carts. Always remember to put things back the way you found them. All right, here we go. Oh, wait, there she is, right over there. All right, guys, here you go. Back to your home. See you, fellas. Well, that's all the time that we have on this edition of Shopping Cart Hunter. If you're out there and you see some of these carts all alone, be sure to put them back in a natural habitat. If you want to see more videos, check out my website, www.sambeman.com.
And we're back with my guest, the Strength family. You probably saw them on an episode, which episode, do you remember which one that was? It was just a few, it was like episode 4 or 5, it seemed like, where we just checked in with you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that I brought you on the program. So welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Chris, I wanted to say thank you. I know that I say this to you all the time, but I wanted to make sure that I said thank you in person, and to tell us a little bit about Jonathan, because Jonathan has been such a blessing to me personally. And I mean, ever since, my goodness, I remember at church, we're talking years ago, when he was like 8 or 9 years old, and he's just, I remember, Jonathan, you were just like, you had your hands up in the air and you're doing this, like it was like you were conducting the choir, which was amazing, because he would just be, it was like the second or third row, you guys were sitting down front, and without fail, Jonathan, you would just stand up and just do this. And I just thought, wow, that is so amazing. And then, you know, to see how you were encouraging so many people back then, but then to encourage me personally, I want to say thank you as well. But Chris, I'll let you talk. Tell us a little bit about, you know, like how did that come about? Like standing up, and like, does he have a love for music at home?
He's always had a love for music, and ever since we got into church, I mean, it just kind of overtook him, and he just got involved, and you could just see the Holy Spirit working through him. Next thing you knew, he's standing up in the pew, and because he couldn't see, but so he wanted to see over, and then he would go and stand out in the middle of the aisle.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
So he was going to make sure, and he had his hymnal with him, and he was into it. And Jonathan has always enjoyed it, and he gets into the music, and that's something he looks forward to. I mean, he always does, and he tells me and his mama all the time how much, you know, And that's one thing about it. Whenever, and you can say this, whenever it comes Sunday, he's going to find you.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And go ahead and ask him what you usually ask him, Jonathan, about his shows. Go ahead and ask him.
Show?
When is the next show, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, every Sunday, Jonathan, without fail, you always come up to me, and is that something that you're thinking about? Like you want to know when the next comedy show is?
Yes.
You like the comedy shows? Who?
Tim there.
You like Tim? Tim, that's right.
And Cyrus.
And Cyrus.
And Cyrus. Yes, we have to give a major shout out to Cyrus Steele and Tim Bannister.
Jennifer.
Oh yeah, Jennifer, that's right. Yeah, because Jennifer was at the last one.
Right, that was the
And of course, I know you've probably seen. Well, you saw Claiborne Cox, and I mean, I've had so many that have come through.
Well, he can probably, if we sat down with him, he could probably help you remember who all did.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely have to call Tim like right after this show and tell him that you mentioned him.
And that was the first one he's mentioned.
Yeah, I know, and usually Tim is one of the first persons that he mentions, which I love. And you know, Tim loves coming down here. I mean, all of the comics that come through here, they enjoy fans like yourself. I personally enjoy fans like yourself, but also, you know, you're more than fans. You're also friends, and
Family, too.
and family, yes, as well. So I can really appreciate it. And Jonathan, as we're talking about the power of words on this particular episode, I just want you to know that by you coming up and asking me when is the next comedy show, that really boosts my confidence, and plus it makes me think, oh yeah, I need to do another comedy show because Jonathan asked me. Because I'll say this, Timmy, Jonathan, like if nobody else asks me, then I can always rely on you guys, because I know that Jonathan, you're gonna come up and say, hey, when's the next show? And so that helps me, because then I'm like, I need to make some phone calls because Jonathan asked me, so we have to do it. So I just want to say thank you again for always being faithful to every show too. I think there's probably only been like maybe one or two that.
I think there's one or two that we didn't come.
Yeah. So I mean that's we should be giving out awards for.
I appreciate the award.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go run around in circles.
Jonathan, do you remember when you were younger, like conducting? Do you remember that?
Say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when he started really loving the music, when I was actually carrying him in my belly.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because every time the music would start, like the orchestra, he would sit there and jump, and my stomach looked like a basketball. And then when it stopped, he quit.
Oh.
So it's actually, since he was a baby, that he's been enjoying it. But it's probably been like, he was probably about 2 or 3 years old when he actually got to sit with us and direct.
Yeah.
And you know, there was in our church, in the bulletin, because they were looking for a children's director, and it said, children need direction, and they had him.
Really? Oh, so they had a picture of him?
There was a picture.
Oh, yes, I think I do remember that. Yeah, where he was doing that.
And he had his hands like, someone took it and said, because someone was looking for a child's director, and said everybody needs direction.
That is awesome. Well, I do remember, Jonathan, you also would get up on stage at the end, like right after it was over, because I know that Jonathan would do this during the service, but also at the very end, you would get up there with Charles and the orchestra and everybody and still be directing.
And you know, Charles used to, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're fine.
Charles used to say, he'd probably be taking my place if I ever retire. It's like, well, he's got to learn how.
Do you have interest in music? Do you really like?
Yeah, father.
Yeah.
Good father.
Oh, good father. You're a good father. That one.
Yeah.
It's who you are. Yeah, that's a good song.
Well, tell Sam what you're learning to play.
Guitar.
Really? Wow.
Somebody
Robert.
Well, Robert's teaching him, but someone had sponsored him.
Really? Oh,
And so Katie gave him a guitar to use.
That is so awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear you play that guitar. Because I know with the dedication that you have and everything else, I have no doubt that you'll definitely have that instrument down also.
But you know what some of them don't know about these two is that they both have intellectual disability with autism on one.
That's awful.
And so it's, you know, it's a daily struggle some days, you know. But, you know, they keep you busy.
Yeah.
They keep you busy, but, you know, I wouldn't trade them anything from the world.
Oh, yeah.
But the one thing they do not miss is church. Only time we miss church is a vacation or somebody's sick, you know. So they are definitely a big mess.
Yeah.
Sundays he'll get a tickle out of that and get, you know, tickle with Cyrus and, you know.
Do you have any voices that you like that I do in particular that you, because you've heard a lot of my voices like Mickey Mouse and.
Which one do you like?
Mickey Mouse.
You like Mickey?
Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse? Hey there, guys. It's me, Mickey Mouse. Oh, boy.
Yeah, you like that one? That is awesome, Timmy.
He likes to mock you. So if you see him, if you're doing your hands like this.
Yeah. Oh no, that's good because Timmy, that's a form of flattery through impersonation. So I really appreciate that. And again, that's what we're talking about: the power of words and encouraging one another. So again, guys, thank you so much for coming on the program. I believe we're going to go ahead and cut to a commercial, but thank you again, Jonathan. Don't ever stop asking me when's the next show. All right, take care, guys, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Earlier we found out that she can sing, and Corbin, you told me that she sings at church, right? No? Okay. All right. So I would like for you to sing just, let's see, do you know a lot of Disney movies? Okay, all right. Oh, definitely. All right. Okay, so what's one of your favorite Disney movies?
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Okay, all right. Would you like to sing like a song from that? Just like a little piece of it? A little old as time or something like that? Okay, she's like, wait, hold on, I gotta think about it.
It's to my head.
Okay, that's okay, that's all right. Okay, got it? Okay, here we go.
I might stutter.
That's okay.
Oh, I can't do it. Give me some encouragement, please, Corbin. Okay, I might not know all the lyrics to it because I'm so nervous. That's okay. So I just know. Tale as old as time, rising in the east. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. No. I have a better idea.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure you want me to sing Disney?
What do you got?
Church songs. Those are my favorite. Okay. Can I sing it? Church songs.
Do it, yeah.
In Spanish.
Oh!
Because I'm Puerto Rican, so.
Let's do it.
Toda rodilla se doble y toda lengua confiese que Jesucristo el Señor por siempre. Y toda rodilla se doble, toda lengua confiese que Jesucristo el Señor por siempre. And the drums go crazy and it's just amazing. Y no puedo parar de alabarte, no puedo parar de alabarte, no puedo parar de alabar a Cristo, no puedo, y no puedo parar de alabarte, no. And then the drums go like a solo and it's amazing. No puedo parar de alabarte, no puedo parar de alabar a Cristo.
Yes, give it up for Dorcas. That was amazing, right? Man.
And we're back with my next guest, Sheryl Palmer, all the way from Columbus, Georgia.
Over the river.
Over the river. Now, Sheryl, we go back. Do you remember when it was like 2005, 2004?
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
2004, I think it was. It
Four?
might have been 2005.
Because
It was Ragtime.
Ragtime, yes. Getting to work on that show was so amazing. And if you don't know anything about Ragtime, look up that musical.
Yes.
The music is
it's gorgeous.
Day of Peace. Mm-hmm. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. Were you in that funeral scene singing?
Oh yeah.
Day of peace, there's a day of pride. Oh man, I mean really, like right now, I feel like those goosebumps just kind of going up your spine. That was such a memorable
was.
experience.
Yeah, it
You know,
was.
because it was a huge cast too. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly how many people we had. but
I don't know, but it was a large cast. I know there were 2 dressing rooms for the women. That was how big it was.
and then for guys like myself, there were dressing areas.
Right,
'Cause-
because of so many costume
yeah,
changes.
I think I had like 16 or 17 costume changes. Did you have a lot of
I had,
changes as well?
Yeah, I had a few changes, but not nearly that many.
The show itself, it was I think it resonates on so
With
many
what's
levels.
going on today,
Oh yeah,
too,
definitely, yeah. You know, all of these different people coming together at the turn of the century for such a time, and but we made that connection there at the Springer Opera House.
Right.
And then we've of course developed a friendship over the years, and now you're at Family Theater.
I've been at Family Theater since, the
So
first
you were
show I did there
back
was
there
in
like in early
2002 when we did, I think it was 2002. When we did
Okay.
Fiddler, and I played
yes.
Golda in that, and that was the first thing that I did. And then I directed some at the Human Experience Theater.
That's right.
But then I started really directing at Family Theater and became the artistic director about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly how long you were down there, but it wasn't at Rose Hill Baptist though at the time.
No,
That's what I was thinking of, like
it
that
kind of
move, that
moved
shift.
around. They worked at Evangel Temple, and then we went downtown, and we actually shared space with the Human Experience Theater.
Oh, that's
And
right.
Family Theater, we did Anne of Green Gables there, and then they would do a show. And then the opportunity came to move to Rose Hill Baptist in the theater that they have there. And so that's where we've been ever since.
Which I know I've told you this before. What's so interesting about where you're at was because in the early 2000, I was a youth pastor over there,
Right.
and that was my youth room. And one of the wild things that took place down there was a playwright in the church, who wrote shows, and so that was where God was leading me back through theater, which was, I mean, wild to think of, but I remember being on that stage down there and just saying, okay, God, wherever you want me to be, that's where I'll be. And because at that point, like, I was really running from God, and it was that show that helped. You know, it was funny because in those days, like, you would rehearse for like 2 months and you put the show on for one night, you know. and so we went over this show so many times, you know, in rehearsal, but the words didn't resonate until opening night, you know, of what my character wife was saying about me on stage, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is me. So have you seen, you know, like over the years through Family Theater, people that, you know, actors that come through where, like, God has really worked, you know, with them?
A lot of the
because Family
people
Theater is faith-based.
Right, we are a faith-based, family-friendly theater, community theater
Okay.
here in Columbus. And so everything that we do has some sort of faith base to it. It might not be a religious show, but there's something in there
It's
that
gonna
we
be
are looking
family-friendly.
for. Right.
Okay.
And so a lot of we've had children, we've had teenagers, there are a lot of families that come in and work together.
I've seen that.
In
I have seen
plays.
that.
And then they come back and they
Andrew
yeah.
And his wife
yeah.
in Narnia.
Right, and so we have a lot of repeat performers, and we welcome new performers, we get new people in, and of course, this year with COVID-19, we wound up having to cancel the last 2 shows, which I think every theater has done. But we are starting something actually this Friday, which is called Family Theater Storytime. And since we celebrate July 4th in July, we started with a story about the Declaration, and then there's one about Betsy Ross, and the third story is about Benjamin Banneker, who was an African American who is considered to have made the first big clock here in the United States. And I had Isaiah Harper come in and read that story.
Wow.
And so each month we'll have a new theme with the story. So this is another way that Family Theater
is reaching out. And how can people see what's going on with Family Theater? Are you opening up for these story readings, or is this online?
This will be on Facebook and on our website.
Okay.
And so it will be 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon, and then with the website they can go to the website and watch it.
What's the website?
www.familytheater.org, and that's THEATRE, not ER. But we have that going on, and then of course we're planning our season with some different types of shows. We're keeping the cast small right now because of all the COVID-19. And some of that, who knows what's going to change with that. But we are branching out just like every other theater is doing to find new ways of communicating.
And within Family Theater, do you find that that you encourage other actors or encourage actors to encourage one another?
Oh, yes.
Through their words, lifting them up, because I know that as an actor, what I've always known to be true is the most important person in the scene is your scene partner. But that is something.
Yes, I mean we encourage the actors, and we'll have some nights where somebody will say, well, I really appreciated this about this person.
Okay.
And then we will do the same thing as director or stage manager.
I like
and
that.
we really, and even at our cast meetings, we always pray. We pray for each other, as well as family and friends.
That's great. And I understand that we do have a video clip that we're going to show where the actors talk about their experience. Okay. Well, Sheryl, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we're not going to show the whole clip because they can watch the rest of it at familytheater.org. All right. So thank you again, Sheryl, for coming on the show.
It's been my pleasure.
And we'll be back in just a moment with Bob Smiley.
It just feels like we're all friends. And it feels like we're all family.
All of my children have been actors and actresses at some point in Family Theater, and the growth in them is amazing. Their confidence has grown. Their ability to speak with strangers without being shy has just made a huge impact on their life.
When I'm in productions here, how to really project myself, and I think that's rubbed off on me in like everyday life. When I'm at school or I'm at my house or I'm at youth group or church, I think it's really helped me in a positive way.
3 years ago, I got married, and the very next month, well, thank you. That's my stepdaughter. So I got married, and the very next month, I was diagnosed with children. Yes. I tell you, so now I am a stepfather of 4, and I have 1 little baby girl. So I have 4 girls and 1 boy in the house. And sometimes, yes, thank you, yes. And sometimes kids can say some of the sweetest things, can't they? Yes, they can. And so my oldest, who's 13 years old, one day she saw me coming into the kitchen. I was wearing this new shirt. She was like, "Oh my goodness, I love that shirt. Is that a new shirt?" And I said, yes it is. She said, "Is it because you're getting fat?" No, I just like stripes. Just like stripes. Yeah, and then I changed my hairstyle a little bit. I just kind of brushed it down, because I've got it up now, but I brushed it down, and so I walk into the house, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, I love your hair." I said, "Well, thank you." She said, "You have grandpa hair." I said, "Well, Grandpa is a very handsome man. Thank you." And then one of the other children walked in, and she goes, "Oh no!" I said, What is it?" She said, "You look like a college student." And so I have to tell this one last joke, because yes, okay. So Alice, my youngest, she said, you have to tell this joke. Okay, so basically I lost my key to the car. Actually, I let my wife drive the car, and the car key got lost. And so I told Alice, I said, I can't find my car key. I can't even leave the driveway. And she said, well, I guess you can sell your car for $100.
Or give it away.
Then you can use the money to buy one of those Power Wheels for me, and I can drive you around. So that, yes.
Welcome back. You're watching Light Talk, and I want to go all the way over to Texas with my friend, Bob Smiley. Hello, Bob.
What is up, man? It is such an honor. I mean, I've been a huge fan of you, Stephen, and I'm a huge fan of the, what's your show called again?
It's called Light Talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been a huge fan since you first. Have you guys been on yet, or is this the first one?
No, it's about 11 years, I think.
Okay, well, I just missed the first 10 and a half years, but
okay.
other than that,
Good.
Yeah, huge fan.
Oh, I love how you always bring the humor in, like right from the start. It wouldn't be you.
Yeah. Yeah, I get bored quickly, so I'm like, let's get to the jokes.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing comedy how long? Like, I mean, pretty much all your life, right?
Yeah, professionally, 24. This is my 24th year. Now, I've decided to take a 3-month sabbatical.
Okay.
I decided about March when the governor called me and said, quit doing shows. No, I actually did a show today. I was standing at a grocery store line waiting to pay for my groceries, and I told a couple of jokes through my mask and got some laughs, so I'm counting it as a show.
Nice.
So I worked in June. I got it just under the wire, but I got a show in, so I'm pretty happy about that.
There you go. Have you been doing a lot of online shows?
I did it first, but it got so awkward. I did one last week on, it was on Thursday at 11 a.m., and it was a church group that called themselves 55 or Better. That was their name.
Okay.
But there wasn't anybody in that group that could remember being 55. Like, they were all, and I got on early, so I was hearing them talk, and I was like, oh, this is an older crowd than I thought. And there was a big debate of how President Nixon was doing nowadays. And it was really fascinating, but they were all on Zoom. So I'm getting ready, but I'm just sitting watching these people, and they're all on Zoom. There was a couple of things that were bad about the show. I was supposed to do 40 minutes, but honestly, it was so much fun. I did like an hour. I think we went an hour and 10.
Nice.
But halfway through my show, one of the ladies that was watching, again, she was probably in her 80s. She got a phone call and didn't realize that the phone call then popped me off the main screen and her phone call. And so she's like, oh, I'm getting a phone call. And you're like, see, and I'm like, if they ask, I'm not here, and she took the phone call in the middle of my show, in the middle of a Zoom call. The other bad thing was they were so loud. They were clinking. I mean, it was 11 a.m. for these ladies, and it was couples. It was some married couples and stuff. Yeah. But it was 11 a.m. So they, were getting ready for dinner, and so they were clinking their tea glasses. It was really noisy, and so the guy who had me do the show, he put them on mute. So I've done Facebook Live, or I've done some Zoom stuff where it's interactive. But I really needed it to be muted so they could hear me, because they were all and they would talk. They would kind of forget that they're watching. So it was no sound. So I saw people. It was the weirdest thing. I saw people go, but no sound at all. It was just dead quiet. Yes. Yeah. Hey, I recognize you. It was that sort. Oh, it was just. But afterwards, I said, well, that's the end of my show. Do you guys have questions? And it really was a blast, just opening up and answering questions. And it was weird doing crowd work on the computer, but It was a lot of fun. And I think we're gonna have to keep doing this for a while, because 2020. I mean, how crazy is it that Murder Hornet showed up and was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, give us a buzz later and we'll buzz you. It's so insane. So this is the longest I've gone without doing a show. In fact, I'd not gone 2 weeks. For about 24 years, I had not gone 2 weeks without doing a show. And I didn't realize how much that was a part of me.
Yeah.
But the second week into the quarantine, I was in our grocery store and, mask on, and there were two ladies there talking. And so they knew each other, and they were complaining about their kids, because all of a sudden everybody was homeschooling, which, by the way, I love that. Even my neighborhood right now, you're seeing parents find out that the teacher was not the problem. Forever they were all like, oh, my kid's an angel. Like, I saw one lady go out and she was scraping the "my kid's an honor student" off her bumper sticker on her van. So they were complaining about her kids in the aisle, and I was pushing my cart, and I just walked by and I just said, we sent our kids to our neighbor's house and had them register as foreign exchange students. They laughed, and I was and all of a sudden I just stopped my shopping cart. And I turned around and they were still laughing. And I didn't realize how much I missed that interaction of making people laugh, because I'd been home with, my wife and my kids for 2 weeks. So I hadn't heard laughter from anything I've said, for 2 weeks. And so it was all I could do not to take my mask off and just start doing a show. I did about 3 minutes of comedy to those two ladies, because I was just so missing it. They didn't know I was doing material, but I just turned around and I just started, hey, waka, 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 kind of thing. It was great. But yeah, I miss it. But I think we're going to be doing this kind of stuff for a while now.
Well, I do believe I like that waka, waka, waka.
Oh, it's great, man. But yeah, it's a brave new world.
And aside from doing comedy in the neighborhood, you're also a writer. I mean, obviously, as comedians, we write, but you're also writing for other publications?
I am. I write for Focus on the Family. I've got about 18, almost 19 years ago, when my first CD came out. I'll pause while the kids that are watching look up what a CD is. My CD came out, and Focus on the Family got a hold of it, and they thought some of my stuff was really funny. And at the time, I was doing mostly youth groups, so my stuff was really geared to junior high and high school kids. And so they asked me to write an article for their magazine called Clubhouse Magazine, which is their middle school magazine. And so I wrote about me going back to school and getting a horrible haircut the day before. But I thought of a cell phone joke that I wanted to put in there. But because I didn't have cell phones when I was a kid, I thought, well, I can't make it really about me, even though the story is about me. And so I just made him this modern day version of me. And so I called him Average Boy, because it was supposed to be one article. And so I wrote that article, they printed it. And then about a month and a half later, they said, we've gotten so much response from middle school kids writing in and saying, hey, can you let that Average Boy kid write more articles? So I've been doing it for 18. I put out 2 comedy/devotional books as Average Boy. And that's what I've been doing during the quarantine, is I've been writing scripts for the official Average Boy podcast. So we actually, today I was in the studio and we wrapped 30. We've got 39 in the can now that are out. So yeah, that's kind of kept me busy. It's great, because it's that or mow, and I'm not ready to do that yet.
Well, now how can people tune into your podcast and to follow you through your website, Facebook? Like what's the best?
Yeah, they could go to Sam Beman's homepage, which is bobsmiley.com. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
And they can go to my website, bobsmiley.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You guys can just look me up. I'm sure I'll pop up. But Facebook is Bob Smiley Comedy. Instagram, Bob Smiley Comic. I'm always posting stuff on there. I'm on all over YouTube. My wife and I do a weekly video called The Smiley Minute, where people send us strange news. Ironically, I thought I would do a lot more of those during the quarantine. But because Florida's been shut down, it's really cut down on strange news, because I was really I've been counting on Florida to kind of carry me through the strange news for a while, but that's cut down. And then, so I am doing 2 podcasts. I do a family podcast for Focus on the Family. That's for everybody. And then my wife and I started a podcast in January that we put out every single Thursday, and it's called Hook, Line, and Smiley. So that's, if you're looking for a funny podcast, but that also has a lot of encouragement stuff, you can check that out too.
And that's one of the things that we've been talking about on this particular episode is the power of words, and that our words do have a lot of value to them. And we can give value to someone else's life through what we say, and it can be positive or negative. And so the more, that we speak something positive into someone's life and we give them hope and we give them encouragement, you never know what somebody can do with that.
One of the first shows I did right after she left, and of course it involved a guy from our church. And so 2 families were broken up and the church was kind of split, trying to, I hate to say take sides, but some people wanted to look the other way and some people wanted to hold people accountable. And it was a real tumultuous thing. And meanwhile, I don't know if my career is going to continue, because I don't know if churches are going to hire a divorced person. And so one of the first shows I did was I got offered to do a show for a prison just north of where I live. And I had never done a prison before. And I remember I took my oldest son because, I thought it'd be good for him to see, the prison, to see what.
Yeah.
Plus, I thought if there was a riot, I can outrun him. So we were standing there, and I'll never forget the first guy through. I'd never been in a prison, and the first guy, they brought him in one by one into this gym that I was going to do a show at. And the first guy was stocky. He probably looks like what a lot of viewers are thinking right now. He had tattoos all over his face and his neck, and he was walking toward me, and I was like, "Oh, I miss my grandma." And so they had a little bit of similarities. And he walked up to me, and I'll never forget this. He walked up to me and he goes, "Man, thank you. Thank you for," and I was scared to death, because even when you check in, you can't bring anything. You can bring one key, your car key, and you have to leave everything else in the car. You can bring one key and your ID. That's all you can do. So I'm like, oh, if it's that dangerous, and so I really was worried. I did bring my oldest son. He was 19 at the time. And we're standing in this gym, and this guy's walking right up to me. He's a prisoner. And he walks right up to me, and he looks, like bulging biceps and all this kind of, and he walks up to me and he just goes, "Thank you for coming." And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, "Dude, you don't even know if I'm funny." And I'll never forget. He goes, "I don't care if you're funny. Nobody comes to see us. So the fact that you and your son are here, that gives us a little bit of hope. And sometimes that's all we need in life, is just a little bit of hope."
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, I just felt, he got emotional. He was like, "Man, I'd love to give you a hug if you'll put that key down." And so I still had it up, I was still a little nervous, but it was great. And that's when it really started to dawn on me. He's like, "Man, you never know where people are at, whether they're hurting or they have anger issues or they have stuff they're trying to overcome. And maybe just a kind word or a little bit of hope will help push them forward, to a better day."
Absolutely. Well, Bob, thank you so much for sharing with us, and we really appreciate you being on LightTalk. Since you just found out about it.
Yeah. No, man. I've been on there early on. I've been a big fan of yours for forever.
Well, I appreciate
That's
it.
the way you said to say that. You put a comma in there where I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to read it like the way you said it. I've been a big fan of you. So
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys get the drift.
I always love connecting with you on and off camera. So thank you. And we're going to go ahead and cut to a commercial break. Yeah. Oh, we got something we want to show. All right. So we're going to cut for this break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
She said, "Is it because you're getting fat?" She said, "You have grandpa hair."
Ooh, just come on.
What is the definition of bad?
Well, that could be magical. That's Mickey Mouse.
He's a clown. Okay, great. Yes, I remember when Willie Nelson did that.
I just like the way it makes my cowboy boots look,
You
try to buck it. Whip your hands. Whip them.
Blaming all of my roots, I showed up in a suit, and the coffee was brewing during prayer. Don't give me a life, you are contagious. Don't give me a life, your body leaves.
I got married, and the very next month, I was diagnosed with children. Yes.
We've had so much fun on this episode. Bob, Sheryl, the Strength family, all revolving around the power of words. And of course, as I said earlier, what you say that's negative can have just as much of an impact as the things that you say that are positive to someone. For example, back when I was younger, I always wanted to be an actor. It was something that I would think about often. In fact, I was an only child for 8 years, which meant that I did a lot of voices. I played with a lot of toys, and I would create scenes in my room. And so I would act out all of the different characters. And so when I would see a play or something being displayed somewhere, that I would be like, oh my goodness, I want to be in that. And I just remember that there were so many people that actually told me, you'd never be any good. And so I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, I guess they're right. I would never be any good. So I never tried. So all throughout a majority of my school career growing up, I never tried because I was always told I wouldn't be good enough. And it wasn't until high school I decided that I wanted to. And I remember there was a drama teacher that I met with, and she was so excited. She was a cheerleader. It was amazing. I mean, she wasn't a real cheerleader, but she was like a cheerleader for me. Like, you could do this. Like, you should try out. Like, I really want you to join. And I was like, man, this is great. This is amazing. I had confidence. I wanted to try out. But I had co-op. And co-op basically put me in a job in the afternoon. So I couldn't even be a part of the program. Well, after high school, I ended up going to watch a play at the Springer Opera House. And I was so inspired because I saw my dentist, Dr. Daniel Windsor, up there on stage singing and dancing. And I thought, if my dentist can do this, I should try it. And the lead actor in that show, he did such an amazing performance as Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady, Steve Valentini. Steve Valentini was Henry Higgins in my mind. And I remember approaching him and telling him what an amazing job that he did and that I was interested in acting. And he said, you should try it. Whoa. And even my dentist said, yeah, I think you'd probably be good at it. So this gave me this hope that I didn't have before. And so I tried out and I made it without any experience in theater because I worked really hard on those auditions. Now, granted, I wasn't the best dancer, but I made it into the cast. And from that moment on, I started doing as many shows as possible, and I would always try to encourage other actors. So I just wanted to remind you that your words really do have power in someone's life. So always try to speak life as much as possible to someone. Let them know that, hey, that's a nice jacket. Or, I like the way that your hair looks. Or, man, you're doing a great job. Because you never know what it could do for their life. I'm Sam Beman, and you've been watching Light Talk. Take care, and God bless.
It's time to have some fun on Light Talk with Sam Beman. We got skits and interviews. We got everything but the blues. It's on. Light Talk is on. Light Talk with Sam Beman.